Ooh! Have we got the
Patreon?
Yes! We've got a
Patreon!
But I never knew about the little things.
Hello interwebs, it's Scott from Admiralty Entertainment, and today we're looking at the world's smallest Starscream from Super Impulse. Starscream is one of the most prolific and consistent Transformers characters, having appeared across media and reinterpretations as Megatron's traitorous second-in-command since the G1 line debuted in 1984. There's a pretty good chance that if you've ever seen anything Transformers, Starscream was there. And he also holds the distinction of being the very first Transformer I ever got. Given the longevity of both the Transformers line and the character himself, we've received a lot of Starscream toys over the years in pretty much every size, price point and gimmick. For the world's smallest line, the gimmick is clearly the diminutive size, though this line shouldn't be confused with the smallest transforming Transformers line from Takara that was launched in 2003. That blind box line was often erroneously called World's Smallest Transformers by fans, so there's a level of potential confusion possible here, but the Super Impulse product is definitely not the same thing. The packaging is unique and looks good, but is ultimately quite wasteful. You get the World's Smallest brand logo at the top, along with a list of the items included, and a Transformers Authentic badge to show that even though it's produced under license by Super Impulse rather than Hasbro, it's still official merch. The blister card within is suspended away from the rest of the design elements, highlighting its tiny size nicely, but also makes the package a lot less compact than it could have been. There's a call out for the included figure stand, a G1 Transformers logo, and Optimus Prime ripped straight from his G1 box art, though flopped to face the opposite direction, complete with a G1 grid design behind him. The back of the packaging has a QR code for Super Impulse's website, a World's Smallest logo, and the G1 Transformers logo at the top, while at the bottom we have a picture of the carded Optimus Prime, along with an out-of-package look at the whole wave, Bumblebee, Optimus Prime and Old Screamer here, plus a licensed by Hasbro logo and a little legalese. Again, suspended in the middle, we have the back of the micro blister card. Sadly, the clamshell packaging itself is not collector-friendly. You're going to have to destroy it in order to access the figure inside, which is a real shame as it feels like it wouldn't have taken much effort to make them resealable and preserve the larger displayability of the packaging. Heading down to the second layer of packaging, the interior microcard does a nice job of both storing and presenting the figure, though again there are points that could have been improved on. There's a clear bubble to view the figure within, and a distinctly G1 inspired card, complete with a Transformers logo and yellow bordered nameplate. The choice to go with Optimus Prime's box art rather than using Starscream's and a Decepticon grid pattern is definitely a missed opportunity, as that would have made this packaging much more distinctive, and given that the world's smallest G.I. Joe figures receive their individual classic card art, and Power Rangers also have a degree of individualization, it's quite disappointing that we didn't get the same level of effort when it's been put into other entries of the same line. The back of the card has a little blurb, a collect them all call out listing the rest of the wave, a Transformers Authentic badge, barcode, and Hasbro logo on top of the classic G1 battle scene. Like the front, it also displays a similar lack of individuality, as the blurb reads, transforms from robot to car and back. Car. G1 Starscream transforms into a jet, as does pretty much every other version of Starscream that there ever is. Just saying. Of course, that statement is problematic in itself, even without the Ultimate inconsistency, but we'll get to that a little later. There's a hinged door through which the figure and stand can be accessed, and this works nicely. It's secure enough that it won't open accidentally, but it's easy to open when you want it to. Bear in mind though that it is bending plastic rather than an actual hinge, so keep an eye on it for long-term viability. Out of the final packaging, we have the figure itself and the stand. The stand is made of transparent plastic with a solitary peg that fits into the right foot of the figure quite snugly, so once it's in, Starscream isn't going to fall over. That's definitely a good thing, as the figure by itself really can't stay upright on its own, making a stand a necessity for pretty much any out-of-packaging display. Sculpt-wise, this is an all-new figure and is clearly a take on the G1 cartoon animation model. Given both the scale and the simplified style being replicated in the first place, the details are sharp enough. No one is going to confuse this with the hyper-detailed sculpts of the War for Cybertron trilogy toys on the shelf at the same time as this. Paint-wise, the figure is largely pretty good, with little excessive bleed or sloppiness and decent accuracy to the source material, including tiny Decepticon symbols on the backs of the wings. But a lot of that effort is undermined by the decision not to paint the head aside from his red eyes. The head colour is very disappointing, especially when the promo pics on the packaging itself show the head correctly coloured in dark grey, so it's a big knock against what would otherwise be a pretty decent paint job. Articulation wise, the arms are on swivels, though those are blocked from full rotation by the wings, while the head seems like it can rotate a little if you can manage to grip it enough to reposition it. I haven't been able to so far, but those with smaller mitts may have greater success. And that's it. Beyond very limited posability, the other aspect to bear in mind is that this Transformer doesn't transform. While there's a long history of non-transforming Transformers reaching back to G1 and rearing its head again every few years, I'm always a bit disappointed when a Transformer doesn't have that inherent ability that gives them their name, and this is especially true when there already exists a line of Transformers that do transform specifically at a very small scale. Scale is, of course, the main selling point here. Starscream stands a whopping 32mm tall, or about 1¼ inches. Unsurprisingly, even though internally consistent scale hasn't ever really been a goal for Transformers, this doesn't directly fit in with any other Transformers lines. Unless you're wanting to emphasise the scale of a Titan class figure, or plan to put him up against Unicron. He works fine with other world's smallest Transformers figures. You can use him to create your own version of the G1 cartoon episode Child's Play, or as a prop for other figures, but I generally feel he's more likely to be used primarily as a display piece, either in packaging or in bigger packaging. Overall, this figure is a cute novelty, and you really need to go in with that as your mindset. As an action figure, he's limited in usefulness and playability, and the inability to transform is a personal pet peeve of mine for any Transformers toys, but the packaging is very cute and well executed. There's certainly room for improvement here. The inaccurate head colour is the biggest strike against this figure, but it would have been nice, and certainly within the realm of possibility, for the microcard to be individualised. That said, given the relatively low price point, Starscream is an easy and fun addition to your collection, though definitely not a necessary one. So, those are our thoughts. What are yours? We're out of here for now, so be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and we'll loyally serve you.
Wanna bet?
Next time on Admiralty Entertainment.